Vandal new video about cheaters. Riot just released statistics on scripters and it's terrifying.
Some really big news today, as
Okay.
Riot decided to make the cheating statistics public.
Wait,
Turns
did
out
they?
that the amount of scripters in League of Legends is
Why someone
actually
linked this to me?
insane. Let's get through the dev post that Riot did on Vanguard. I'll focus on the best stuff. Article is written by Mirage of Penguins, who is an anti-cheat artisan, and he says he has served more than 85 million bans. And we're talking about lifetime bans. So how persistent is the scripting problem in League of Legends?
Very.
Turns out it is a much larger issue than many of us had thought. In years 2022 and 2023, there were times where 15% of all League of Legends games globally involved a scripter or a bot. 15%.
Oh, it's
Ever since
okay. Okay, this sounds insane when you look at it. It's like 50%, which it is. But there's a lot of weight being carried with Aura bot, because that technically is a script that performs the actions. But bot is way more common in super low velo, and there's way more games in low velo. So they're gonna have bronze, silver, gold bots, and I would really love to see separated how much of this is actual scripters, right? Because these are games, these are bands. There's no separation of script versus bot. If there's an actual high elo player cheating, I think the number is way less than 10%, because the numbers are being inflated by lower elo bots. We're gonna see in the video, maybe they discern later, but yeah, this is just a very interesting thing to note, so you don't think, oh, like 1 in 7 games has a cheater in my lobby. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't in super high elo, but yeah.
Later parts of 2022, the number is consistently between 5 and 15%. There were plenty of weeks in which Riot has banned more than 200,000 accounts. In later 2023, for example, they banned 1 million accounts basically in a month. These numbers are terrifying. As they say,
also notice this fucking notice the trend. Look what's happening on the timeline. On the timeline scale. When you have massive ban line, you have a surge right after. Look at this. Massive ban line, massive surge of games appearing. Huge chunk of bans. Boom, boom, boom. And then like it lowers during the ban period and a massive surge up, because it's a constant arms race between the devs trying to figure out how to identify the bots and then the bot makers trying to create their bots to avoid detection. They're constantly trying to one up each other. As soon as you get massive amount of bans, it doesn't really matter as long as the rule set stays the same, right? You can ban a bunch of people. That doesn't ban the botters, really. You just bans the bots. So then you get the botters trying to come up with a new way to avoid the current rule, right? So it's very fucking cool.
In a month. These numbers are terrifying.
Yeah, send the link. This is very cool.
As they say, in recent months, as many as 1 in 15 games globally had a scripter or botter in it, but in some regions, this number was as high as 1 in 5. How about scripting by tier? This also varies, but it seems that scripting is most prevalent in higher elos. We can see an insane amount of Master, Grandmaster, and Challenger people scripting. As they say,
Wait, percent games played with at least one cheater, ranked games by scripter tier. It got to 5%. This is like the very fucking awkward stage when we even had like Challenger Zeris like every on the corner, right? So 5% games is kind of reasonable, because that means that once every 20 games you get a scripter. But yeah, that is still a bit of a high number to face in high elo Challenger. It does kind of invalidate 5% of games you play, really. So 1 in 20 games go down the shitter with one guy kind of ruining the experience. It doesn't guarantee them winning, of course, but still very sour taste.
Amount of Master, Grandmaster, and Challenger people scripting. As they say, more than 10% of Master Plus games had a cheater in them. They also say that the current anti-cheat is beaten. They also mention that up until
that sounds
now,
like
for nearly 6 years, League
completely
has survived on anti-tamper called
How can a bot go to Master? This is not bot. These are cheaters. These are scripters that they're mentioning. A Master is fairly easy to attain, so you're gonna have a higher number of Masters, scripters, obviously, than Challengers. As soon as you reach Master, there's gonna be a ton of scripters there, because they want to go to that as high as possible. They want to see how far they can go up, and then they're gonna use that. And it's very easy to be in Master, so higher than that is where they should get detected and banned, I guess.
They also say that the current anti-cheat is beaten. They also mention that up until now, for nearly 6 years, League has survived on anti-tamper called Pac-Man, but unfortunately due to the breach, it's no longer effective, although by the graph we can tell that the issue with scripters and cheaters has been an ongoing issue for many years.
Okay, this is a lot more manual than I thought. Look at the ban sprees. It starts off completely automatic because that's what you want with the system. You want it to be automated. Then you realize that system tends to be beaten, so you need some human review. And this here is the dire part. Very few bans with huge amount of manual reviews, which means that the systems are terrible. That the systems are getting destroyed by botters and cheaters. If you need to review this much manually, then the process is so gruesome and slow and terrible, not modular at all. That means you're just destroyed. You're losing the fight. Here, it seems to have been like very, very good improvement. And this is like, I think the shift that we saw where a bunch of people dropped the script. So the number went from like 10% to 5%. Because here they updated some systems, I'm guessing, and it got a lot better, but we'll see.
Many years. Then they present us with how fast anti-cheat works in League versus Valorant. In 2024, cheaters playing Valorant seems to be on average getting banned 3 times faster than League cheaters. So currently they manage to play 3 times less games before they get banned.
Damn.
Then they also mentioned that thanks to Vanguard, they can apply hardware bans reliably. And here we can see why it matters. Most
hardware bans
come
are a
from
big
the
issue.
hardware bans, by banning people who were re-offenders. Plenty of detection from the automatic system, but manual bans are rare. What's really important here is that the percentage of the games with cheaters is much lower in Valorant. It seems to be consistently circling around 1%. One more interesting note, Riot also says that according to their database, there are only just above 800 Linux players in League. On a funny note, they also say that they used to let cheaters submit handwritten apologies for unbans. Some promised to stop, some paid kids on Fiverr to write apologies, but at the end of the day, 91% of these accounts were banned for scripting again in the next 6 months. So we can clearly see that scripting and botting is a huge problem in League of Legends.
They're like, please, let me out. This is... I wonder how well this correlates with the real prison statistics, you know, like how many repeat offenders there are. I mean, it depends how shitty your country is and how shitty your rehabilitation system is, but I imagine some of them go to like 90%. Please, I won't do it again. Let me out, let me out. It's like instantly goes back in with a fucking script.
Months. So we can clearly see that scripting and botting is a huge problem in League of Legends that should be dealt by some form of anti-cheat. Whether Vanguard is the right way to go? I don't know. What do you guys think about it? I must say I'm pretty surprised by how many scripters and botters actually exist in League of Legends. Definitely didn't expect that many games to be influenced. It definitely explains to us why Riot actually wants to introduce Vanguard to League of Legends. The article is much more detailed and answers many questions, so I'll link it in the description in case you want to read it.
Yeah, they definitely shouldn't let them do handwritten apologies anymore. I think cheating should be one of those like complete red line issues where it's like, you do it, you're done. Isn't Vanguard? No, but I'm sure those words in the exact order mathematically the fastest way to farm retweets. Content algorithms are programmatically addicted to the clicks the word spyware or rootkit can generate, mathematically hunting for their next fix has steered them away from informative journalism into sort of full pandemonium that's only remarkable in its unhelpfulness. Huh, very harsh response. Each region must adhere to its own specific policy and regulatory requirements. Tencent, for example, has run anti-cheat for games that operate in their region, including Riot's titles. While we do share the cheats we find so that our respective teams can make detections for them, we have no need to share anything else. We met with Tencent's anti-cheat team maybe 3 times in a decade, and the only things we exchanged were high fives and bank counts. They won both. We don't share Vanguard or its code, and anti-cheat data has never left Riot's warehouse. Interesting. Is it good or bad? What do you mean is it good or bad? The article. Some people thought that their scripting is way less, so it's a bad thing to discover that there's way more scripting and botting. I was kind of aware. I every time I try to play a new account and level it up, I noticed there's so many botted games. It's fucking horrible. Like, kind of coincides with the rising quality of the new AIs. So people also want to test how good their AIs are. They want to see how high elo they can climb. So you have even bronze, silver, gold players who are bots. Like legit just bots, people just fucking around with AIs. And yeah, I was fairly aware how big of a problem this is, but it's kind of interesting to see that Riot literally says that their systems have been beaten. Like, that's very interesting. Basically admitting they've lost the arms race. I guess they're relying on Vanguard to make it all work. Riot only collects what we need to run and secure our games, more data. I mean, this is just, they basically have to say that no matter what. Why not AI anti-cheat? We do use machine models to predict the likelihood that the player is cheating, but using only data the game server receives doesn't currently afford us the granularity necessary to detect informational cheats. They do not modify player input. ESPs, FOW leaks, and radar hacks are almost totally undetectable. Huh, that's interesting, dude. That is actually very interesting. I wasn't aware of this. So people are using way more like wall hacks and just understanding where enemies are on the map, and you cannot detect it. Essentially undetectable. I mean, it does make sense. I don't know how you detect that. Maybe through extremely sophisticated AI who's gonna kind of correlate the movement of you, whether you have vision on the enemy or not, and then whether you have the vision or not. But that could like kind of have some false positives on really good players who play the map and read. Holy shit, that's insane. Valorant and LoL both rely heavily upon the art of gathering or obscuring information, so cheats like these are very damaging, ultimately necessitating traditional anti-cheat anyway. And even solely for aimbots, Riot isn't that great. The best models can only identify around 30 to 50% of cheats on server-sided player input alone. It is not sufficient for a free competitive game with literally no barriers to re-entry. Worse, aimbot developers have already started offering humanization features to prevent player reports. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is such an evolutionary arms race between AIs. It's fucking insane, dude. AI detection versus AI trying to act human. They're actually doing Turing tests. They're Turing testing the scripts and bots. It's fucking cool. Well, Vanguard is like the only way to put a stop to it, honestly, when you think about it. Because no matter what you do, they're just gonna come up with better stuff, like less detectable stuff. Okay, to prevent player reports, while they're still mostly goofy pseudo-random noise generators, at some point a particularly enterprising young cheater will spend the weekend training a model to move the mouse like it's a real boy. Honestly, I would be surprised to see the exact white paper in the next 6 months probably titled Operation Geppetto. Oh, this is well written. Holy shit. What Vanguard does, it's an anti-cheat but with kernel level access on your PC. It basically can impact everything, so it's kind of the only way to reliably attack cheaters by getting this information from your PC. In a few years, AI will play the game exact same input and output as human player. Like, I imagine that the sufficient AI soon in the future would be able to, let's say, input thousands of my games on Vel'Koz. I think where they're making mistakes is a lot of these AIs, they are done on whole game. Right, you're doing the whole game, which is kind of impossible. But let's say you take all of my games that I played, like 1K, or you're collecting the games throughout the season, 1,000, 2,000 games of me playing Vel'Koz, and then you put that and churn it through the super hyper efficient smart AI to mimic my patterns and movements and play style. I'm pretty sure you can mimic very soon. You will be able to mimic my performance quite accurately on maybe not even one champ, but one play style. My Vel'Koz support play style. You can probably mimic it with high efficiency on an ultra smart AI. So you can feed that and teach it that, and then teach it maybe like something easy like AP carry Vel'Koz. Support is kind of difficult, but can be done, you know, mid lane Vel'Koz. And just teach it to one character, one champion. And you can do that with any player. But I'm using me, for example, like let's say you can do that with Baus. He has so many games streamed, so many games played. You can take all of his inputs and put them as raw data into the machine. That would be so insane. You can have AI that's gonna play like Sloppy Walrus. He's even gonna say Bomba, you know, at the end. The future is so wild with AI, man. If Vanguard is so good, why do I still see cheats on Valorant? For starters, we do not action every cheat or account instantly. Every ban is like a broadcasting a signal to the developer that their cheat has been detected. So you need to update it. In order to slow the progression of our cheat arms race, we delay bans based on sophistication and visibility of the cheat and cheater respectively. That is also very cool. Holy moly. So Valorant has a very low amount of cheaters, which is 1%, which is 1 every 100 games. So they deemed it acceptable and they delayed it on purpose in a few cases just to not tell them why they've been caught. Because let's say the Valorant player does something with their, or a cheat does something in its inputs, like bing, it lights up, but they don't issue the ban because they've only showcased that. And if you only showcase that part prior to the ban, the developer of the cheat will know that's the thing that pinged the system. So they want to let it go. Holy shit, that's so insane. I love it. But also, cheaters gonna cheat. We've really driven our preventative layer as far as we can feasibly go without colliding with existing setups and hurting legitimate players. We'll detect them soon enough, but not before they snap a video and repeatedly drop it on TikTok for the highest ad to malware click-through rate before even realized. Yeah, this article is the devlog is well written. Because it says live doesn't mean you're watching a live stream. Don't download garbage. Nice. Oh, that's so cool, man. I'm excited to see what happens after Vanguard. Like, what are the stats? What is the arms race? I love this devlog. Very nice stuff.